Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Meal Mondays. Much appreciate you guys taking a little time out of your day to watch the video. And you know, everybody that watches these Meal Mondays, a few people that do, because it doesn't get near the views that our regular videos get. But I sort of feel that most people that watch these Meal Mondays, they're sort of like-minded more in the way that I think a little bit. Of course, there's always a handful of guys that watch Middle Mondays just to criticize it, but for overall, most people that watch Middle Mondays are, people that are they spend more time just thinking about abstract things, have a little bit more open-minded view on life, and that's why it's my favorite part of the channel to do these every Monday. But the topic I want to talk today about is I want to talk about how, trying to exactly how to frame this. I want to talk about how people give too much energy to physical discomfort and things that require them to push themselves a little bit. And the reason I wanted to do that is here in Missouri, it's supposed to be like 102 to 104 degrees all this coming week. It's been hot here for the last couple of weeks. You hear a lot of people really complaining about it and that type of stuff. And I just sort of wanted to address that a little bit and give you guys some tips and advice on how to approach things that most people consider physically uncomfortable and get through it a lot easier. First of all, we as a society have become pretty soft over the last couple hundred years. I mean, actually about the last 100 years, specifically the last 50 years, in the terms of creature comforts. It's like everything we have now is heated, it's air conditioned. There's so many people out there that never experience anything in nature. It's like they sleep in an air-conditioned or a heated house all night long. They get up in the morning and they walk on concrete out to the car where they turn the air conditioning on or the heat on. They drive to wherever they're going. They get out of the car. They walk on concrete into a heated or climate-controlled building. And they never experience any of the life-giving forces of nature. They never experience heat, cold, rain, wind, sun, clouds, that type of stuff. Life-giving, aspects of nature, things people are cut off from. And a lot of times when you hear people talk about stuff like that, it's usually in some type of a critical or in complaining fashion. One of the things that I've learned, guys, many, many years ago, particularly from some of the wilderness survival schools I went to, is that it's absolutely a waste of your energy to complain about being uncomfortable or being hot or cold or something like that, because when you do that, you're giving that, whatever that is, more energy than it deserves. And one of the things a lot of people don't have is they don't have the ability to transcend any type of physical discomfort and to push themselves a little bit. And one of the things, if you guys fish with me, any of you guys that have ever fished out me or drew with me or know me or anything like that will know you will never hear me complain, especially in a fishing tournament, about it being too cold or too windy or too hot or raining too hard or whatever. I don't do that. I accept it for what it is. I take that power, I take that energy away from that and neutralizes it. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. There's two different things I want to talk about, is some practical things about how to take that pain away, and then get into some stuff about pushing yourself a little bit. First of all, one of the things that you have to realize, like right now across the country, it's so hot everywhere. I mean, it's just, every year our summers get hotter with climate change, our winters get more mild. It's just part of the reality we find ourselves in. And what happens with that is when you have a situation coming up where it's hot, a lot of people, that's what they focus on. So, oh my God, it's supposed to be 100 degrees today. It's so humid. I'm going to be so miserable, that type of stuff. They give the heat or the cold or whatever it is too much power. What you have to do is you have to have an internal shift mentally when you're talking about dealing with the elements. I don't care if it's wind, rain, sun, cold, heat, whatever like that. You have to accept the fact that, yeah, it's hot, so what? Yeah, it's cold, so what? And when you're out in that particular environment, don't fight it. Let that flow through your body. And here's a good example I'm talking about. We'll talk about cold, for example. If you're out fishing and it's blowing 20 miles an hour and it's 25 or 30 degrees, you know, a lot of people have the tendency like to just hunch up and, just, shiver and that type of stuff. If you can train yourself just to relax, just let your body take a deep breath, let your body relax, and just imagine that cold just flowing through you and without any judgment to it, or the heat, or the rain, or whatever like that. Guys, you will be amazed about how much more comfortable you are. If it's pouring down rain and you got a leaking rain suit and you got rain dripping down your butt crack or whatever like that, don't focus on that. Just accept it, the fact that, yeah, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's not a big deal. Let me get back to focus on what I'm doing fishing here. Take the energy, take the power, take the focus that you're giving these elements away from it, and it's going to make it a lot more comfortable. Now, the thing that you want to do with that is I encourage people to put themselves in positions of being what most people would consider uncomfortable. That's why I love being out in big waves and big rough water. I like pushing myself. I like being in situations where most people aren't out there, where it's too hot, it's too cold, it's too windy, it's raining too hard. I love to thrust myself out in that environment because I just feel that makes you feel alive. It's healthy. It's almost like taking a vitamin because it's a life-giving forces of nature. The times that you get sick, guys, are not the times that you're out in the elements getting cold or hot or wet. The times that you're sick is when you're in that office building around a bunch of people that are sneezing germs everywhere. I never get sick when I'm out in the elements. I don't care if I'm fishing, if it's 0 for a week, if I'm falling in the lake or I'm soaking wet. I never get sick like that. The times that I get sick is when, for some reason, I'm stuck inside, that I've got to work inside or be around people, in an enclosed environment. That's when I get sick. So in that sense there, just, take that power away from it. The next thing, sort of in correlation, was it's related to the topic I want to talk about here, is one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you guys is you have got to learn to push yourself past your level of being comfortable. Most people never do that. They don't know what it is to push themselves beyond their comfort level. They have like a switch that goes off when they stop doing it. And I'll use a prime example. If you're working out in the gym, most people that work out in the gym, well, I'm just using this as an example. You can use it for whatever you want to use it. But most people that work out in the gym, they stop pushing themselves when it starts getting hard. But if you work with somebody that knows what they're doing, the personal trainer, like I work with, one of the best investments I've ever made in my life is getting a personal trainer. I've got a personal trainer named Dalen Tripp at Springfield Strength and Conditioning. They will push you beyond what you think your limits are. When you feel that you haven't had enough, that is when they start, and they will push you to that next level. And unless you push yourself to that next level as far as being uncomfortable, you can never really understand what your full potential is as a human being, as far as what you can achieve or what you can attain, and just dealing with elements, that type of stuff. I think this is really important, for people that are outdoors people, fishing, hunting, that type of stuff. You got to be able to do that. And it's sort of like it's a tragedy in our society a little bit. Like I said, we've talked about this on the channel, quite a bit in the past, about just how people are so disconnected from nature. And they've removed themselves from everything that we have been putting ourselves through as the human species for hundreds of thousands of years. And we've just insulated ourselves to the point that, we're almost like we're an alien on our own planet, because it's like we can't survive unless we have these man-made life-sustaining things like a heated house or a cooled house or something like that. So, and another thing that you do with that is when you cut yourself off from those life-giving forces of nature, and that doesn't become important to you, that is when people lose respect for nature. That is when they don't place the value on nature, because once you remove yourself from nature and the interconnectedness that you have it on a very deep cellular level, that makes it easy for somebody to destroy it. That makes it easier for, a big oil company to, pump sulfur dioxide on the air. It makes it easier for a timber company to cut down 200-year-old oak trees. makes it easier for chemical companies to pump, toxins in our lakes and rivers like that. When you remove yourself from nature, you lose that respect, and that's when everything starts to go downhill. So anyway, guys, just a few offhanded comments. I was thinking about that today, since everybody's that I've been around has been complaining about the heat. Hope it made some sense. Hope it helps you guys out down the road, and we'll talk later. See you.